Welcome everybody to part 3 of the Fighting Fantasy live read of the Citadel of Chaos, done by me, iClorox. Now if you're new to the series, you're in for a treat, but if you find yourself at part 3 without having listened to part 1 or part 2, you can find those links in the description below. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy part 3. Will we take either the left-hand door or the right-hand door? What old Grammy used to say, Grammy Gark, right it makes right. So I say we take the right door, 38. The door opens into a short passageway, which is paved with small stones. A short distance further on, an ornately carved door marks the end of the passageway. But just before the door, a side passage leads off to the left. You approach the door, listening for any signs of life inside. As your hand touches the handle, a voice says, "Do not knock, just enter," from inside. Will you enter the room as instructed, or will you decide against the room and take the passage leading off to the left? Well, the way I read that, that was just totally, the guy was like, "Do not knock, just enter." Like, if I say it like that, if it's, "Do not knock, just enter." Alright, well, that's, probably don't want to do it at that point. But I'll go with my first reading because, he said it with a semicolon. Like right there. Totally, hold on. Right there. Just enter. If you're that grammatically correct when you're speaking, it's amazing. Tell you what, I'm going to make this decision, and you guys make the next one. Alright, so I'm going to go into this room, 132. I'm invited in, right? That you enter a room which is evidently a library of some sort. Books stretch from ceiling to floor on each wall, and several tables and chairs are lined down the center of the room. At the far end sits a dark-skinned man who looks up at you from a book over narrow eyeglasses. Behind him is a door. "Yes, what is it?" he snaps. "Which book are you looking for?" He scans the various shelves which are labeled. Will you ask him for... Okay, here we go. Here's the choices. Biographies of Balthus Dyer, Secrets of the Black Tower, or Creatures of the Kingdom of Kragan Rock. Balthus Dyer biographies, eh? We might learn something about him. Or certainly Secrets of the Black Tower, if there's something in there. Oh, sorry, I'm drinking my awesome glass of tea in my sriracha mug. It's not a glass of sriracha. Yeah, I agree with you, Trash. I think the tower is a good idea. Okay, well... It's a tie. It's a tie. I get to be a tiebreaker. Here we go. Okay, since Trash and Chalu, you're, or see hello, depending on how you want to say it. Chalu 85, you're odd. Here we go. We're dice. Okay, we're going to go with creatures. And if we get a chance, sometimes you have a little recursive option. If we get a chance to come back to the books, we'll do it again. We're going to go with Creatures of Kragan Rock, 375. All right. He indicates a book on the shelf, which is an alphabetical listing of all sorts of creatures. Will you turn to the section on calicorms, mix, or Ganges? Oh man. What are we doing? Calicorms, mix, or Ganges? I don't know what any of those things could even potentially be. All right, I'm gonna say calicorms in this case, because it's the first option. Seems like the right thing to do. 263. Oh, here we go. Calicorms are reliable and contented creatures. They are large reptilian beasts with gray skin, long tails, and 2 heads, which chatter at each other incessantly. They want for little, having no great ambitions in life beyond their jobs, their food, they live on dead snakes, of course, and their home comforts. Rather out of character with their placid nature, is their great delight in the screams and pains of torture, and strangely enough, these creatures are for some reason scared to death of mice, in spite of their huge size. Alright, 326. You replace the book. Will you continue browsing through the books, or will you leave through the door at the far end behind the librarian? Alright, we're going to keep reading books, for sure. 84. And this time we're gonna, if we get another option to go back into the Black Tower stuff. 84. So we know calicorns are scared of mice. As you study the shelves, you hear a commotion behind you. You wheel around in time to see orc-like creatures armed and on guard materializing one after the other right behind you. They advance and surround you. The tallest one moves his face close to yours and blows a puff of breath straight into your eyes. The room spins and you slump to the ground, unconscious. Well, crap. Alright, orcs with super bad breath. Especially like right on your eyeball, because that's kind of gross. Eye grossness. Alright, 234. Alright, 234. You wake up in a dirt. Here's the illustration first. Oh, that looks very familiar. We just read about that. Okay, let's see what it says. You wake up in a dirty room with rough walls cut into the rock. Iron bars in the windows and door confirms your suspicion that you are in a prison cell of some sort. There is not much you can do but sit on the straw mattress in one corner until someone appears. An hour or so later, you hear a shuffling noise outside. Looking through the bars in the door, you can see a lizard-like creature shuffling down the corridor carrying a mug and a bowl. The beast has two heads which talks to each other as he walks. Its skin is gray and scaly, and a long tail follows it up the passage. It stops at your door and pushes the bowl and mug through the small opening into your cell, then shambles off to sit at a table across the hall. You have been given bread and broth. Will you eat and drink, or will you call out to this creature, a calicorn? Take the food. Do this if you wish to shout at the calicorn. Do that. All right. Well, I wish I had a mouse. Maybe an opportunity will present itself at some point. But for now, we've only lost 1 point of stamina, so we don't have to. Generally, food in these games will give you more stam back. In this case, we're only one down, so I don't want to risk being poisoned. I don't think it's going to be offended necessarily. So it leaves us the option to call out to it. We're going to call out to the calicorn. 69. The creature is not very talkative, but you do discover that you are in the dungeons beneath the Black Tower, and you will probably never be released unless you are given to the Ganges for sport. When you question him about Balthus Dire, he goes silent. You'd better try a spell to get you out of this prison. 193. Choose a spell. ESP. Fool's Gold, ESP, or Illusion. If you have none of these, turn to 283. Well, luckily we have ESP and Illusion, and we have 2 Illusion spells, so I'm tempted to use one of the Illusion spells. Alright, we're going to do some Illusion here. 35. You concentrate on your illusion. You can either convince him that he's being attacked by an enemy, or make yourself disappear in the hope that he will come looking for you. Well, if we convince him that he's being attacked by an enemy, then he's just going to try to fight that enemy, versus him opening the cell door, which I think is probably the smarter option. So let me quickly deduct one illusion spell from our list here. I'm thinking, all right, so let's do that. He's going to come looking for us, 246. You disappear. You can, however, still watch the calicorn from your cell. To your consternation, the beast does not notice that you've gone. You wait patiently, but to no avail. And now you start to worry that the spell will soon be wearing off. You kick the dust at your feet. The creature looks up and rushes over to your cell door. You are nowhere to be seen. It opens the door and enters the cell, but as it does, your spell begins to wear off. Try to trick me, eh? Says the calicorn as it grabs you. You will now have to fight the creature. You can cast a weakness spell on it, which will reduce its skill to 5. If you defeat it, you may leave the jail along the passageway and which runs northward. Okay, tell you what. We're just going to go crazy fight time here. Alright, so it rolled a 5 for a total of 14, which leaves us a totally destroying this Calicorn, the double head lopper. I wish I had a pillow axe, but unfortunately, we're just gonna have to beat it the old-fashioned way. Alright, so here we go. Calicorn is dead. We are free from our prison. 174 lies ahead. The passageway twists and turns, eventually ending in a flight of stairs going upwards. You climb the stairs and find yourself in a short passage ending in a dead end. As you examine the wall, you discover a short lever which you pull. The rock face ahead opens slightly and closes behind you as you walk through. You are now standing in the front of a door which is locked. Will you try to break it down? Or will you cast a strength spell to smash it to bits? Well, we all know what happened last time we cast a strength spell and tried to bust down a door, which was we knocked loud really hard once with our shoulder and nothing happened. And we're down to 1 strength spell. Let's see what happens when we try not to cast a spell on this one. Save some of our magic for later on. All right. 268. As you hit the door, the wood cracks a little but does not give. You try it again, and this time the wood splits down the middle. You break your way into the room behind it. Turn to 210. All right, cool. So we didn't need to actually cast a spell on that one. 210. Here we go. 210. You now stand in a large round room. It is lit by a single torch, fixed into one wall. There is no furniture in the room, save for a rough wooden table and a chair in the center. Hovering above the table, fast asleep, is a very small man dressed in a green shirt and pantaloons. He cannot be more than a meter tall, and you cannot believe that he's still asleep after your noisy entrance. You hear a creak and turn to your right in time to see a small catapult fire a missile of some sort straight at you. It is going to hit you unless you use a shielding spell. Oh, we do have shielding. If you use the spell, turn to 192. If you cannot, or will not, turn to 359. Alright, I'm all for actually using a shielding spell on this one, just in case. That's just a nasty catapult. Alright, so let's use shielding. State that. Whoa! I cast shield. It's the shieldiest shield there is. 192. Cool. Oh, let's there's the illustration of the room that we're in. All right. 192. You cast the spell just in time. The missile hits your magical shield and splatters against it, dribbling on the floor. You test the resulting mush to see that it was what it was. You were nearly hit by a tomato. Curses! In the center of the room, the sleeping figure is stirring. Turn to 29. Alright, almost got tomatoed. I want to keep my leather armor pristine. Definitely do not want tomato juice on it. Stuff doesn't come out. Cautiously, you approach the little man. As you get close, a single eye opens and looks you straight in the face. A wide grin spreads between the creature's ears, and he disappears. "Good morning to yer," says a chirpy little voice behind you, and you swivel around to see him standing there, grinning. I'm a leprechaun. How do we want to say this? Seamus? Oh, Seamus? The leprechaun. Is that the right way to say it? Anybody there want to correct me? Oh, Seamus. The leprechaun, he chuckles. And holds out his hand to you. I mean, I could try to affect a really bad Irish accent, but I will end up insulting lots of people. So he seems friendly enough, and he will shake your hand. Will you shake his hand and try to befriend him, or draw your sword? Well, I think leprechauns are pretty powerful magical beings overall, and they're tricksters. I'd rather not turn one against me, if at all possible. So, what do we think? Befriend him or run him through. There's the choice ahead of us. All right, doesn't look like anybody else is actually in the chat at this point, so I'm going to say befriend him. 271. You grasp his hand and introduce yourself, and cry out as the nerves down your arm go numb. Oshamus bursts out laughing. Lose one skill point as you were using your sword arm. Well, that'll teach us. You are becoming angry, but the little man continues to shake your hand and laugh. A laugh comes from behind you, and you look around to see him floating in the air, grinning. You're still shaking his hand in front of you, or are you? In fact, you now realize you are frantically shaking hands with the stuffed dummy which is flopping around on your end of the arm, or at the end of your arm as you shake it. You throw it to the ground, but it is stuck to your hand. The situation is ludicrous, and you are becoming very angry. Just a little joke, he says to the leprechaun, who snaps his fingers. The dummy disappears. Now what can I do for you? Will you ask him the way onward, or draw your sword? Well, we took a one hit to the old skill there, which is gonna hurt us in the overall combat. Let's see, we got up to a 9. But I think that, you know, if we can ask him the way forward, 348. He had his fun, right? He had his fun. 348. It'd be nice to us now. Oh, I shouldn't go this way, says Oshamus. These are not pleasant parts. These 3 doors are the only way onwards. 2 of them are very dangerous, and the other is very smelly. On the opposite side of the room there are 3 doors. One has a brass handle, one has a copper handle, and one has a bronze handle. Which will you choose? Brass, copper, or bronze, or ask his advice? Well, I think that I'm going to ask advice there. So if the choice comes back down to it, anybody in Twitch, pick a choice, brass, copper, or bronze, and we'll see what this leprechaun has to say to us here. So 68 for the advice. Which would I take, eh? He muses. Let's see. I would not take the 2 doors to the left of the copper-handled one, nor the door to the right of the bronze-handled one. Which one will you choose? Here we go. Okay, a little logic puzzle. Anybody really good at these? Okay. Below says the copper. Not take... So he says... Two to the left. So the copper handle one is the right hand one. And the right of the bronze handled one. Door to the right of the bronze handle. All right, we're going to run with copper door. 22. Here we go. You open the door and step on into a long, dark corridor. Turn to 188. Ooh, that's ominous. Ominous 188. A sudden, intense flash of light bursts out of you, out in front of you. You shield your eyes and then rub them, but you cannot see. Panic hits you as you hear a low, growling noise. Padded footsteps come closer, and you cry out in pain as an unseen creature roars and embeds its sharp teeth in your leg. Cast a strength, a weakness, or draw your sword and slash out. Man, that's a tough one. So I'm going to cast a weakness spell on this one, and we'll see what happens. Oh, sorry, strength spell, 301. Let's see here. Spells. Strength's got to go away. Blurp. Oh, unfortunate. Okay. You feel strength surging through your body. You try to wrestle with the head of this creature, but its own strength seems to have increased to match yours. Your leg is now useless and covered in blood. Your strength begins to fade, and as it does so, the creature's jaws close on your throat. Consciousness fades. Oh. 323. We should have bookmarked that door one. 323. You awake and look around. As your memory returns, you're amazed you can see. Your leg feels tender but is uninjured. You hear a small chuckle coming from above you, and suddenly the whole thing makes sense. Floating above you is Oshamus, now laughing loudly. The whole thing has been one big practical joke. You are arranged in a heap at your feet, but as you glare at the funny little man rolling about in the air in hysterics, you can't help but see the funny side. Too, you chuckle, then giggle, then laugh loudly. For some time the two of you roar with laughter until tears stream down your face. When you are both unable to control yourselves, you eventually settle down to chat. He's a pleasant little man. Before you leave, he says, "Indeed, you are a good sport. Your way ahead is fraught with danger, though perhaps these will help." With a wave of his hand, a sword and a plate appear on the table. The sword is a magical battle sword and will add 1 point to the dice roll when throwing for your attack strength. The plate is, in fact, a silver mirror of fine workmanship. You may take these with you, but if you have to leave your old sword behind, leave the room through either brass, copper, or bronze. All right. You guys figure out which door we want to go through there. I'm going to just quickly update our inventory with the stuff. So brass, copper, or bronze. Now, we went through copper before, but that might have just been another joke on his part. So let's just quickly update inventory here. Do we take that sword as well? Silver mirror. And let's go magic battle sword, right? +1. Copper door again? Okay, cool. Keep with the copper. Because the last one was like a fake door, right? We can also remember that our skill in this case will be... Come on. Learn to type, Clorox. 1. Alright, okay. We can definitely do copper. Alright, here we go. We got a silver mirror, ornate hand brush, and a magic battle sword +1. Going down the copper door, 144. You know what? I'm going to learn from my mistake. I'm going to say that we throw out a bookmark onto 323. There we go. Bookmark that one. 144 for the copper door. Hey, this is Clorox. Thanks for watching part 3 of the Fighting Fantasy series of the Citadel of Chaos. Like always, please like and subscribe if you like what you heard, and stay tuned for part 4. We'll find out what's behind that copper door.